Bring on the Brooklyn Nets. Bring on the Los Angeles Lakers with a healthy LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Bring on the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Bring on anybody. Because this team is prepared to go neck and neck with anyone in the league. This is Six of the Universe. That's the first time I actually use an audio as an intro. I just kind of being creative with my head, and that's how that came out. Hope you like it. Whew, man. As you can tell by my smile, everything went right. And even the things that, quote-unquote, might not have gone right. And we'll start off there. I had a great conversation again, hit him up, Broken Landers, who's a great analytical guy, great breakdown guy, gives all the tape, all the facts, everything you need to know. And, it's kind of a thing where, like I said, I come from a respectful discussion kind of place. I don't have any grudges with my view. If you think my view is stupid or not, then that's okay. If you think my view is some insidious genius, then that's okay too. And so, we had a discussion, and like he said, you come to a middle ground where you understand Ben doesn't always have to score if it's not there. If it's not there, and when you have the best player on planet Earth, why would you not go to that guy? Like, the dude once again had a up and under layup, and it was actually even more impressive. Literally spun into that layup and won over 3 guys. It was the best play of the year, and that's saying a lot. We all know that Joel Embiid had been absolutely sensational, but that particular and one layup between 3 guys, that was Vince Carter. That was Tracy McGrady level athleticism from a 7-footer. This dude is breaking human physics codes that should not be possible. It should not be possible for a human being to be as absolutely dominant as Joel Embiid is. And I don't even just mean on the court anymore in terms of, making buckets. I'm talking about he is physically imposing, dominant in ways that some of the greats could have only ever dreamed of. He had the athleticism of these wings and smaller bigs to go with a 7-foot, 270-pound body. It's ridiculous. I'm reminded of what an ESPN announcer said in Game 3 of that Raptors series, when Jerome B. pumped 8 Marcus out of the air and got a reverse dunk. And that announcer, sorry, his name excuses me for right now, and I apologize to him too, because again, I'm respectful, you like to know the game, but he said that it would be a crime if Jerome B. left this game, barring any injuries, not being compared to the game's greats. And it felt that way tonight, where Joel Embiid, God willing that he stays healthy, will be one of the greatest centers, not only to have donned a Sixer uniform, I said that during the 50-point game, but he will be the greatest 76er of all time, when it's all said and done. And I know there have been great Sixers. Look, I wasn't alive with Will Chamberlain. I have to say that again. I was not alive to watch Will Chamberlain. So you cannot literally tell me, oh, but Will. I didn't see him. So I can't say. I also wasn't alive for Moses Malone, but in my opinion, even if I go back and look at the stats, my view on Moses Malone is short time here. You spent 2 years here in Moses Malone's case. Joel Embiid was drafted here. He's become the player that he is here. And if he wins a couple of titles in a Sixer uniform, then I have to say that he has the chance to go down as one of the greatest Sixers of all time. And because the center position has, if you look at every NBA great, really, in terms of the history books, so many of them are centers that I have to restrain myself and say, I feel like Joel Embiid could be a top 12 center of all time. And I think that's fair. I capped it off at 12. I feel like he has a chance to be in the top 12 of centers. That's fair, NBA. I did not touch Shaq's shoes or Morning shoes or Yao Ming's shoes. To see how great that position is. If I say top 12, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair discussion to have. He is among the top 12 centers in the NBA. The guy literally won the game by himself. That is a human cheat code. You're not supposed to go against a 36-29 Dallas Mavericks team with Luka Doncic and win the game by yourself. Are you kidding me? This dude single-handedly, I don't want to say by himself as though no one else came to play. They did, but more in spurts. But this guy by himself, if you take a look at the final score, it was by like what? Maybe 16 points. And the dude scored like 35 in 23 minutes. That was insane. This guy, by himself, beat an NBA ball club as a legitimately over 500 club. That's the kind of MVP season he's having. I'm sorry to Nikola Jokic, but you lost to a Boston Celtics team that we handled at Boston. I mean, and it was his second game off of the knee brace. Okay? So yeah, the 18 game miss. So whatever. But how about focus on what this guy is doing when he's on the court? There is no doubt in my mind that Joel Embiid is one of the greatest centers in Sixer history. I will cap it there. Top 12 center in the NBA lore, potentially. But definitely, if he keeps this up, he will be the greatest Sixer center of all time. Because Moses wasn't here long enough, and I was not born for Wilt Chamberlain. That's just my take. Okay? That's just my take. In my view, in my personal view, he is the greatest Sixer of all greatest center, Sixer center of all time. Greatest Sixer. You get into Dr. J, Allen Iverson, and Bartley, and that becomes a whole nother beast of a discussion. But in terms of the center position, greatest Sixer center possibly of all time. Okay. I will stop gushing. It's hard. That was only 27 minutes. I mean, let me quickly look over the official minutes played. Oh, for a second. 25 minutes! I am laughing like some evil genius torturing a helpless lab rat subject. I'm not a scientist. But he wasn't just dominant on the offensive end of the court. The guy, I thought he did more. He had a steal, but we held the Mavericks to like 93 points. And that was with our second string playing, like literally, Joel Embiid played half of the game. So the other half was manned by Dwight Howard, who actually had a terrible game with Dwight Howard standards. And you still hold them under 93. That's how dominant the starters were, especially on the defensive end of the floor. I thought defense was definitely better than offense. Doc Rivers would agree with that. You know, started the game, it wasn't looking that way. But after Doc kind of gave up a pep talk about defense, defense has been our identity. You know, we said it was our identity last year, but this year we really mean it. And this year we're really dogging into it and committed to our defensive principles. And it's showing lately on the defensive end of the court, especially in that stretch without Joel Embiid. Okay, we're missing 30 points, but do we have anyone offensively to pick up the slack? No, we may not. But we know that we can buckle down and we can stop you and we can give ourselves a chance. That's how we survive a slugfest like the Knicks game. That's how you can overcome a Laker game where your star guard doesn't play his best. Because you buckle down defensively and you get stops. This team's defense is for real. And that's why we have a sucker puncher's chance against the Nets. We have a sucker puncher's chance. And that's all you can ask for when you're not loaded with 5 all-stars and the media doesn't think that you can do it. All you can ask for is a sucker puncher's chance. And we have a sucker puncher's chance. And we have a guy named Joel Embiid. But you want to know how you know that this is your year? when Kyle Korkmaz started playing NBA level defense. This is the second game where Kyle Korkmaz, he played 18 minutes, and he had 2 steals. And it isn't just, with steals, it can kind of be a volume number, right? Where it's a guy can have a couple of steals, and it's because he's gambling on passing lanes. I want to be clear, Burkhan is definitely shooting some gaps. He definitely learned some tricks from Matisse Bible. But he's energetic. He's blowing through screens. He's making an effort. That was the thing early in his career. Like, he wasn't playing up to his 6'7" frame. My hope when we drafted him a couple of years ago in 2016, I was thinking, could this kid be a Mike Miller? And now he's starting to get into that role of, he's tall. He literally is 6'7". And now he's growing into that frame, 23 years old. Are we seeing the maturation of Burkhan Korkmaz into a legitimate NBA level player? It's bizarre. And he had good defensive flashes last year too. But this is the first time where Burkhan's in a couple games, last game, the Oklahoma City game, before it was in doubt. And here, in the Dallas game, he helps to keep the second string afloat defensively. This is twice now that Burkhan's been put into a situation, and he is flashing on the defensive end of the ball. Burkhan Korkmaz, the Turkish stringer, oh my God. When Burkhan Korkmaz becomes a legitimate NBA rotation player, you know, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for the NBA. Burkhan Korkmaz. So, we will get into more neutral territory because not everything was perfect. I mean, I want to put that tone into context. We blew out the Mavericks. I'm just saying that it would not be a full recap video if I didn't mention everything I saw. The refs in this game are ridiculous. And I mean ridiculous. And I'm not talking about Joe Embiid getting his fouls. That's normal, right? Joe Embiid dominates and getting that contact. I'm talking about the calls they miss. Joe Embiid gets an alley-oop pass on Tobias Harris, who struggled tonight. Struggled last couple of nights. I really hope that this is just, they said it was a hip thing. Hopefully, he had an off day, and then we blew out the Mavericks, so you sat out the second half. So hopefully any other off day tomorrow as we play Wednesday against the Brooklyn Nets. So hopefully this rest that's coming up with Toby gets Toby ready for playoff Toby, because we need playoff Toby, and we need playoff Toby to be big in the playoffs. But anyway, Toby didn't have the best game today. I'm okay with that. And you're probably going to hear that you're definitely going to hear that about number 25. Number 25 came in and did some work, especially in the first quarter. Again, aggressive in the first quarter, set the tempo. And I mentioned at the jump the conversation that I had with Brock, and I'm at a weird place of acceptance because of it. If our game plan is Ben is downhill early, breaks down the defense, and Jerome B wreaks havoc from there, it's working. You're 20 games over 500. It's working. It's new, but if we win a championship with it, that was the ultimate goal all along. The ultimate goal was us to win a championship. Maybe Ben Simmons will end up being not so much Scottie Pippen, but maybe he might just be the Robert Ory, the guy that wins 6 championships even with unimpressive stats. Where you need Ben Simmons to win an NBA championship. I didn't think you would get there without developing his game further offensively. But when you consider his defense, you consider his passing. Now, his defense today, Luka made some tough shots. But ultimately, he didn't turn the ball over. Got into foul trouble early, too, so that was a part of it. But 7 assists to 1 turnover, and the aggression early, beat for 6 on the field. Not quite aggressive Ben completely, because he had to take out foul trouble. But it wasn't bad Ben Simmons either. It was Ben Simmons fitting into the Jerome B night. And that I'll take. That I'll accept. That's better than 8 turnover Ben Simmons. So, good job. Good job. But my main point was Jerome B gets an alley-oop pass. Boban Marjanovic hits him in the face. This will be the first or second time this happens. And the ref doesn't make a call. And I'm flabbergasted. You're the sideline base ref. What are you looking at? You're in direct line of the play. What are you looking at? I'm just tired of bad officiating this year. It's been ridiculous. And I bring that up. The second time he got hit, there was a call. But there was a more egregious call. There was also a technical foul on Dwight Howard for a little slight shove. And it bullshit. Dwight Howard was literally fighting for the board. That's going to be reviewed to the league office, definitely. That was ridiculous. I find it crazy that the baseline ref missed calls all night, but felt fine to call that technical foul. How about you be a better official? How about that? It's just ridiculous. And I say that because here's the call. It was a call that was so egregious, even Doc Rivers was pissed. Shane Milton makes a great move to the rim, scoops up a layup, the Mavs player literally body slammed him to the ground. Should have been an air one. Play continues. You're right there to play. You're the baseline ref. How are you missing this? How in the fuck? What are you looking at? I don't want to know. Where are your eyes as this play is developing? And it wasn't like he wasn't underneath the rim in the fast break. He was. He was there. Where are your eyes? Where are your eyes? It's ridiculous. And yeah, we did get the line 33 times, but that doesn't mean you swallow your whistle when you have to make a foul call. We want you to let the guys play, but we also want you to respect the integrity of the game. And if a guy gets body slammed and he makes a layup, it's an air one. Call the damn foul. That's all. It's ridiculous. But big picture, we're 37-17. We have sole possession of first place in the Eastern Conference because, of everything that's happening in Minneapolis. I don't think the police training itself will suffice. I do think that we are now at a point where the federalization of the police is probably in order. That will be my 1-minute politicization of the day. I am not one of these activists. I just think that we are at a point now where if you're mistaking your pistol for a taser, I don't think we can leave it to police chiefs anymore or the police academy because clearly, there's a fuck up right there. Clearly. But hopefully that situation gets under control. Maybe they might play Tuesday, you don't know. I would like for them to play Tuesday so that the Nets will have a back-to-back for once. And they will have a tough part of a schedule for once. Instead of playing Houston, Minnesota, Detroit, etc., all this in a row, it's ridiculous. If they get a back-to-back, that will be good for them, for once. Sorry, just a couple things. But Sixers win. We are 37-17. Our next game is against the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm excited for it. Sixth of the universe. Peace.